Good evening. We're learning Igeres HaTshuva, chapter 10, page 72 in the Chayenu, and start with the flow, reciting the words of Kriyas Shema and its blessings with total concentration and connectedness with God is a form of a higher level tshuva. So look at the power of saying the Shema. Reciting the words of Kriyas Shema and its blessings with total concentration and connectedness with God is a form of a higher level of tshuva. Both prayer and Shabbos represent the higher level tshuva, and thus both require the prerequisite of lower level tshuva in order that the higher experience be authentic. Since prayer is an expression of tshuva law, a higher level of return, it must be preceded by tshuva tato, by the lower level of tshuva. The lower level of return that is reached by the contriteness of a penitent heart. This is what the sages intended in the Mishnah. One should embark on worship only in an earnest frame of mind. Rashi explained this to mean humility. This is the state of tshuva tato, in which one arouses divine compassion for oneself, as noted above in chapter 7 and 8. This, the Talmud infers from a phrase which states with regard to Hannah. She was bitter of spirit, and she prayed to God. At the same time, we must note the Brisa there. Our sages taught one should embark on worship only with joy, while the individual is to begin its preparations for prayer by achieving a state of bitterness of spirit. He is expected to begin his actual prayers in a state of joy. In our bereaved generation, however, when not all are capable of turning their hearts instantly from one extreme to the other, from humility to joy. How can you jump from humility to joy? Humility is like contrition, and joy is expansion. So it is advised that tshuva tato be practiced earlier at Tikkun Chatzos. This is especially appropriate time for spiritual stock taking that leads to humility. So basically break it up to two different times. The lower level of tshuva should be done at night, and then the following Shema, the next day, you'll be able to have joy with, when you say the Shema, the higher level of tshuva. This is an especially appropriate time for spiritual stock taking, the Tikkun Chatzos, midnight prayer, that leads to the humility of a broken and contrite heart, as noted above. Whoever cannot do this nightly should maintain an absolute minimum of once every week, at least once a week before the Shabbos. It's Thursday night. It is familiar to the initiates in the mysteries of the Torah that Shabbos is of the order of tshuva elo. Shabbos has to do with a higher level of tshuva. Indeed, the very letters of the word Shabbat spell Toshev. Toshev, Taf, Shin, Beis also. What does Toshev mean? Return. You cause men to return. Ki b'Shabbos, why? What's so unique about Shabbos? Ki b'Shabbos yaliyas ha'olam muslim keilom. For on Shabbos all the worlds ascend to their source, and this too is a time of the ascent of the soul to its source, which constitutes the act of teshuvah. The prayer of Shabbos, in particular, even more than the weekday prayers, are an act of teshuvah law, This will suffice for the preceptive. We can now understand the pasuk. Return to me, for right. This will suffice for the perceptive people that are discernible, right? Uvezeuvan mashikosu. Some people are very perceptive, right? So that's also can be personally. So we can now understand the phrase, return to me, for I have redeemed you. What does it mean? For sins, as in the preceding phrase, I have erased your sins like a thick cloud. I have erased your sins like a thick cloud, removing the sitra acha, and I have redeemed you from the evil, extraneous forces through the arousal of supreme compassion, following the initiative taken by men below in his Teshuvah Tato, as explained above. Azai Shuva Elai v'Shuva Elo. Therefore, return to me with Tshuva Elo, the higher level of Tshuva. So the takeaway from today's essay, praying with the intention of connecting to God, is proper Tshuva. Imagine just praying with the intention of connecting to God. Utilize your time of prayer, especially on Shabbos. That's why the Alter Rebbe pushed, encouraged his Hasidim to daven at length on Shabbos. Said even if those that are busy and business people and are working hard during the week, they don't have the time or the patience or the concentration, but on Shabbos they should. And he said, even if you don't do it, I'm going to find out, and I'll ask people to spy on you, and I'll find out.
It's more on the minion and the minions that they would daven too fast.
No, that's another inyan. That's another chapter in Tanya that speaks about praying fast and not praying together. The Chazan, it's something different. It speaks about davening with Bavoido. They call it Chassidus. They daven for a long time, taking their time. So it says that business people on Shabbos, if they wouldn't do it, and when they come here to hear Mamorim or to participate in the Fabregans or whatever it is, he will reject them because they didn't listen. So, but over here we see the importance of it. First of all, Shabbos is already, half the job is done for you because it's time of Tshuva Elo Toshiv, and you have the time. So if you're davening with the intention of connecting to God, it's the proper Tshuva. Okay, we should all do Tshuva and bring Mashiach. It says, the Gemara says, Ois in Tshuva, they do Tshuva, and Miyad Nigolin, they're redeemed right away. Okay, Buchim to you.
The Halachas is too late already.